All right. Good evening, everybody. Bitcoin Brandon from Los Angeles, California, getting ready for a late night crypto talk. Thank you for logging on. This is later than normal. I had presentations this evening that I was taking part of. But as promised from this morning, we're going to continue part 2 of today's lesson. Go ahead and type in the chat box where you're logging in from. The topic tonight is going to be cryptocurrency and wealth redistribution. This morning we covered, what's the title of this article? Our weird relationship with money. So this is part 2 of that. As a disclaimer, I'm not a licensed financial advisor to be dispensing financial advice. I read the news, give my opinion, share suggestions, and it is up to you to make an informed, intelligent decision on which direction you want to move into. There's 4 rules I live by in the crypto space. Rule number 1, crypto education is key. Crypto education is everything. Rule number 2, never invest money you cannot afford to lose. Rule number 3, always get your return on investment back as fast as possible. And rule number 4, where do you see yourself in 3 months, 6 months, a year from now? What are you willing to do to make it happen? Stay focused, pick a vehicle, and do not get distracted. I guarantee you that there's going to be many things out there that distract you in this space. You can't be a part of everything. Now, this isn't going to guarantee you success, but it will at least minimize your risk. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the most that we can ask for. So welcome, Lashana from Richmond, Ed from Florida, Bethany Gibbs, Pat Health Plus, Marty, Diana Townsend. I will be seeing Diana 1 week from today. Look forward to that. Anthony Pinkston, Mr. Ronnie Ross. Welcome, welcome. Let me hit the screen share. get this started. And also, I need my Bluetooth, because when I get excited, I walk around when I talk. All right, let me make sure this is plugged in. Yep, all right, we're good to go. All right, earlier this morning, originally I was going to cover this cryptocurrency and wealth redistribution, but in the first paragraph, we noticed that there was a series before this, and it was this article. We read this morning, Our Weird Relationship with Money, and this is an opinion piece. And so I like reading opinion pieces from other experts to see if I agree with it or if I can learn anything new or some other insight. And it was pretty long, so that was really kind of the only article we covered this morning. And I needed time to digest that before reading this one. So I said I'm going to save this one for tonight. Cryptocurrency and wealth redistribution. So let me, why is my chat box not showing here? I've got multiple computers running. So on one computer is this live stream, and on the other, I can see what you guys see and see the chat box. So I know I'm not missing anything and can interact with you. There we go. All right, so cryptocurrency and wealth redistribution. So I know it's late on the East Coast, so sit back, relax. Some of you are already in bed listening to the audio. That's fine. But we're going to learn something tonight. Diana says, I just listed the Eventbrite link for the Philly event. All right. I'll get that, and I will post it out for the entire company, Diana. Okay, cryptocurrency and wealth redistribution. 2018 has been a harsh period for cryptocurrencies prices in general. Prices in general have been falling from late January until now, with the usual ups and downs. Nevertheless, as prices and technology rarely come hand to hand, during this period, we've seen some conceptual improvements started being implemented, such as Ethereum sidechains and Plasma, or Bitcoin's Lightning Network and Superspace. Superspace, which I am going to discuss on my next piece. Okay, I've never heard of Superspace. Before you dive into this, I urge you to read its predecessor, available here, where I discuss the role of money in our society, how it can potentially have quantum-like properties, and finally, different ways to measure growth and value. Now, I covered that this morning. So if you missed it this morning, make sure you go back and listen to that recording. Growth accumulation versus growth redistribution. One of the most important quests of mankind across centuries has been how to achieve continuous economic growth. From the first world empires to the Industrial Revolution, the single most important factor that allowed for this unsustainable mindset was the money's creation mechanics. Logic dictates if your monetary system is inflationary, future money will always be worth less than present money. Meaning, it's quite hard to change monetary policies to support citizens' wealth creation when the object of said wealth creation loses value every year. If we could potentially find a solution to the debt-based system, it would most likely be connected to a better redistribution of wealth, I argue, okay? There are many paths to choose from to achieve the above outcome. For example, through income distribution, STOs, utility via rewards, airdrops, and bounties, or even a completely new token scheme with both income, utility, and governance. Decentralization allows for different kinds of money systems, not only based on debt, but also on your actual time, user participation, or physical assets. The point is, the more projects start to grasp the power tokens can bring as income, utility, governance, or investment vehicles, the more token-based organizations will pop. There are many rolled out platforms like Steemit from the creator of EOS, or the Brave browser from the Basic Attention Token team, which entitle users to receive a reward based on content creation. Imagine you guys getting paid on Facebook for posting up pictures, for posting up, selfies, for talking about your day, what you had for dinner. All the content you're providing Facebook is making Facebook money because you are attracting more people to it, and advertisers are paying Facebook for access to you. That's how that works. How you doing, Mohammed? And also Skirtala. I hope I said that right. Redistribution comes from changing paradigms. And that's another thing. I don't see this as redistribution. And I said that in this morning, because to me that limits it. That you're saying that there's a limited source of money, and I don't believe so. It's not a redistribution. It's basically opening the doors and allowing people who traditionally have never had access to wealth generation are now able to play the game as well. Ultimate level playing field. Bitcoin is money. So there are many arguments against free money creation. How can taxes be applied? What about assets insurance? Will government still be responsible to protect its citizens through public-sponsored schemes? How can regulatory bodies adapt to overcome the challenges of regulating non-proprietary, decentralized, and permissionless protocols? If we look into new organizational theory, how companies' behavior towards social logic affect performance, we can find refreshing conclusions which may assist us in better understanding the role of money in our society. For one, companies which have strong social values, i.e. hybrid organizations such as cooperatives, are able to maximize both consumers and suppliers' utility by not maximizing profits. Sounds too weird to be true? Let's use an example to explain how it all works. Companies buy raw materials, transform them into finished products, and then sell them to consumers, let's say milk. Suppliers are the farms, company is the stakeholder, and consumer, the link, yes, the little guy does love his milk. Links, from Zelda. I remember that, The Legend of Zelda. The above logic is oversimplified as I'm taking out important attributes like distribution or finance channels. Still, the goal of a traditional company is to maximize profits in order to increase the benefit of those who own it. That's true. To accomplish this objective, companies usually pay farmers a low price for milk and sell the finished product, butter, yogurt, milk, to consumers for as much money as possible. There are many different ways of maximizing profits, either by reducing costs or increasing market share or firing people. They do that. But the ultimate goal still remains profit maximization for stakeholders. Another way to look at it would be to maximize stakeholders' utility. This usually happens when stakeholders are, for example, suppliers. Asterisk, do not mix this concept with backwards and forwards integration as it's not the same. When a company integrates a supplier, stakeholders remain the same, and the goal is still to maximize profits. So the price paid to suppliers is still the minimum possible. It's just like working a 9-to-5 job. Companies will pay you just enough money so you don't quit, and you work just hard enough so you don't get fired. That's how they want to maximize their profits, pay you as little as possible. Hybrid organizations. You have the supplier stakeholder, company stakeholder, consumer is the link. There he goes again, jumping through the Hyde rule. So a great example of institutions that fit the above description is cooperatives. For example, in the Azores, where most of the Portuguese milk production is concentrated, there's an open market composed of traditional organizations which aim at maximizing profits, and hybrids cooperatives that aim at providing social benefits to its farmers' community. The curious aspect is that the hybrid organization sees better profits, although it's more limited in terms of internal changes, as it needs to accommodate the voices of many different people. Wouldn't the expected result be exactly the opposite? Well, let's get back to the milk producing company to further explain these findings. When an organization maximizes the price paid to suppliers for milk, it's maximizing its supplier's utility. I feel like I'm in a freaking econ class right now. Hence, any farmer that chooses to collaborate with hybrid organizations in this Azorian milk market will directly benefit from profits maximization. Okay. Decentralized organizations. Now we're getting to, that's what crypto's all about. In this scenario, we come back to our previous understanding of how money works. It expresses a sort of entanglement between agents. If our goal remains as maximizing stakeholders' utility by maximizing their profits, while everyone is treated as a stakeholder, we come to the below conclusion. The supplier is stakeholder farmers, company is a stakeholder, and consumer is us. How can we possibly maximize both suppliers' utility, company utility, and consumer utility if there is always a Pareto's optimum and equilibrium? Yep, I'm back in econ class. The theory of everything. If we understand how money flows between agents and how do they benefit from it, we come to the conclusion that the only way to increase value to all participating agents is if all of them have an economic incentive to participate by getting rewards. You guys want to know how crypto works? It's because of the miners. The miners are the ones who create the blockchain. What are they incentivized to do so? Why would they be incentivized to spend electricity, programming, and equipment to build a blockchain? Because they have a reward. And what is their reward? Crypto. In the early days, the reward was Bitcoin. They were getting Bitcoin for creating the blockchain. What do you think Green is doing? Green is building a blockchain right now. That's what it's mining. It's not just, when we say we're mining the coins, and also, it is also building the green power blockchain. Ethereum has its own blockchain. Ripple, piggybacks off the Ethereum blockchain network. The reward for creating the electricity blockchain, that's what we call proof of power. The reward is Green X coins. There's incentivization taking place. If you're spending 9 hours a day on a job, working for somebody else's company, why would you willingly do so? Because your reward is a salary. And so you're doing that for a reward. So I'm breaking it down in layman's terms, what all this mumbo jumbo he's talking about means. Anyways, this is when there is a proxy monetary incentive, i.e. token, which is given to consumers for participating by purchasing and is gifted with a certain utility purpose, voting, staking, and rewards. The model stops being measured in profits to be measured in token value. If this argument is confusing, think that by creating a token which travels in the opposite direction of money spent, and by bestowing tokens with the power to perform actions that change the outcome of production, governance, or price, then every agent becomes a sort of stakeholder. In this case, a token holder. It's like you guys as well. Same way, you're token holders if you're in the Bitcoin space. When Link goes to the market to purchase milk, Stacy's blowing me up. I have to call her back. When Link goes to the market and purchases milk, what he's really purchasing is the M token, the milk token. As the M token is directly associated to a physical thing, a milk carton, for example, it still seems you're buying milk, although in reality, Link is buying tokens, which in turn represent a certain amount of milk. You know what? He's directly explaining Green. How, when we have the Green, the blockchain, how it works when electricity is tokenized, is digitized.
doing a crypto talk live on YouTube. Give me a second here. I just did a presentation for her, so she wants to be debriefed. All right. So that's exactly how that works. The token is a representation of the transaction of what you're doing. Now, because Link is the owner of M tokens, he is entitled to spending those tokens within the Milk community. If tokens have both money and asset properties, then it means they can reward users at the same time as they serve a utility purpose. Every time there is a purchase, that money is converted into tokens, which is then granted to all agents as a reward, suppliers, company, and other customers. In a sense, each time a product is purchased, tokens are minted and given to every agent. If you're worried about the outcome as money would lose its value, think again. Okay, let me stop right there. You see what it just said there? In a sense, every time a product is purchased, tokens are minted. You are going to see every company out there is going to come out with their own tokens very soon. Amazon's going to have its own. Facebook's going to have its own. Gaming company's going to have its own. The porn industry is going to have their own. They already do, Tron and Verge. You're going to see this happening. And then you're going to start seeing individuals that have their own token. Hell, I'm going to come out with the Bitcoin Brandon coin. You'll see Kim Kardashian's going to have a coin. Watch. But this is important here. If you think money would lose its value, because fiat money loses its value over time. The US dollar right now has lost 95% of its value. It's 95% of where it was 100 years ago. Well, could the same thing happen in the crypto space? Well, let's see. Products could be purchased with any given currency because the value would come from tokens being minted as a product changes ownership. What this means is whenever a product or service changes ownership, what happens, in fact, is a transaction which mints tokens as a reward to both agents, the buyer and the seller. As more product are bought and sold, more tokens are gifted, which can later be used as money by agents agreeing on a set value of tokens per product. Now, I know that might go over your head, but the more you get a little educated, it's going to start to make sense. When you start getting in the crypto space, it's going to make real sense to you. If we assume money used to purchase milk is then redistributed to all token holders, then all agents are incentivized to see value in the tokens. It's the ABC example. A is a customer, B is a company, and C is the farmer. If A, the customer, purchases milk from B, the company, A owns 2 M tokens and 1 milk product. So you see what happens? The customer paid for it with money, right? And they're given back 2 M tokens and the milk. Now B, the company, owns 2 M tokens as well, and then 2 euro. So this is a year, obvious this dude is European, probably British. So now the company gets 2 M tokens, and they're also given 2 euro from the customer. B purchases milk from C, because B is the wholesaler or the retailer. They need to get it from the wholesaler, the farmer. So the company purchases milk from C. B owns 1 M token and 1 milk product. C owns 1 M token and 1 euro. Why is it only 1? Because the company kept 1 and gave the other 2 the farmer. So total tokens that went in this transaction, customer gets 2 M tokens, company gets 3 M tokens and 1 euro, and the supplier gets 1 M token and 1 euro. This is like a lightning bolt going off in my head right now because I'm understanding this. It's like a Robert Kiyosaki cash flow quadrant thing here. After tokens are created, value can be expressed in any currency as the proxy M token becomes a unit of measurement. With the above logic being true, the assumption is that any interacting agent will see value in the token. However, we could wonder if what would happen if either token prices devalued too much or exploded in value. So 1, If tokens are dumped by holders way below market price, the incentive is to buy those cheap tokens as each token awards more milk. If tokens become expensive to spend because they hold more value, like Bitcoin does, what we can expect is other forms of money, fiat, for example, to be used in order to purchase milk. Wow. In other words, let me see if I can break this down in more layman's terms. Right now, you're only used to spending money and getting a product. One transaction. That's it. You store your money in a bank account. The bank uses your money to make money for themselves. What this is introducing is that there's both value in making a purchase and selling. And that value is being given to you in the form of tokens because you participated in the process. So it's like little league kids today. See, when I grew up, there was no such thing as a participation trophy. You either win or you lost. Winners got the trophies. Losers didn't get no nachos. They went home. Winners got pizza. Losers went home. Well, in today's environment, everybody gets something for participating. The crypto world, what they're saying is, we're going to give you something for participating. And what we're giving you has value, whether you participate as the consumer, the retailer, or the wholesaler. You're all participating in this ecosystem. You're being rewarded for it because you're creating something off this energy. Wow. This is huge. I'm starting to get an even better understanding of Bitcoin. Now, sometimes you don't get it right away. As much as I already know, I just learned something new, another way of looking at how this ecosystem is going to survive. Wow. All right, the utility argument. If utility is granted to the end tokens, like the ability to participate in different forms of governance, or the ability to power up certain suppliers by introducing game-like mechanics, which gives token holders the capacity to delegate tokens based on quality, quantity, or even geographic location. What we can expect are different behaviors depending on agents' social logic. So one, customers will most likely benefit directly from selling tokens for more milk. Okay, you see that? Customers will benefit directly from selling tokens for more milk. So they're not using their own fiat money anymore. Number two, companies will benefit directly as they can receive more tokens and give the same milk reward. So in other words, a company is either getting paid fiat money or tokens, and they're giving away the same product, milk. So it benefits them either way. Number three, suppliers will benefit as they too receive tokens on each transaction. Because tokens reward milk, we can entangle both physical and virtual assets with value. Very simply put, there is a social logic which can entitle all participants to being rewarded in each transaction by making the money asset of said transaction the item traded and the product the reward. So people ask me all the time, is crypto going to kill fiat money? No. In fact, when done right, it can enhance it. So I believe, and it's not the same thing in the industry. I believe that fiat money and crypto can work side by side. And it's going to need to until the day comes where you have one world government, when they get rid of all fiat and just go on one currency. I don't see that happening in my lifetime. I might be wrong. Revelation says you never know when the end's going to come. You won't know the time or day. I don't see it happening in my lifetime. But I do see how this can work side by side with whatever money's out there. Because remember the first article we read this morning. Countries are how they are because they create money. They tell their public what money's value is. And the only way you can buy goods and services is through the country's backed money. Since there's hundreds of countries out there in the world today, all with their own currency, even if you're dealing in the crypto space, until every single entity allows you to survive just off of crypto, you're going to need to sell your coins for whatever fiat currency you're using. I hope that's making sense. Let me continue here. The best part, because tokens are exchangeable for any other form of currency, the reward holds value as it can be traded, bartered for other items. This means at the same time tokens reward milk, they can be traded for other tokens which reward different assets. So instead of money being traded in a traditional debit credit form, we could look at it as something we will always be entitled to no matter what. I like that. Much like hybrid organizations, social logic collides with profit-making logic. Token rewards won't make sense if you measure growth by itself and not by its redistribution. Hence, by allowing companies to create and redistribute the value through its community of members, we create a new model based on maximizing community utility and not company profits. Arguably, the M token model discussed above could be tweaked to have a maximum supply of tokens, like most cryptocurrencies, in order to create money with deflationary properties. Independently, even with inflationary token models destroying value as time goes by, due to the fact that actors creating currency change, from central institutions to mere everyday organizations, power structures also change because, as we know so very well. The conclusion, which it says, money equals power and Bitcoin is freedom. Yes, it is true. We'll still need to work in order to create value. Yes, that's true. However, money could be much better redistributed among every agent because every agent is part of every organization as networks operate, either as an employee, investor, supplier, consumer, or citizen. If there is a money asset which serves as a reward, granted of utility purposes within its ecosystem, then value becomes easier to get because it is automatically redistributed in the form of a participation reward. Participation reward. That word right there is you're going to see that everywhere. You're going to be watching TV. You know remember why American Idol was so popular? Because you were able to call in and vote on who you wanted to see move on to the next level. Here's what's going to happen. They're going to want to incentivize you to participate. So next time there's like an American Idol, just by you calling in or texting in your vote, they're going to reward you with some tokens. The key is, what can you use those tokens for next? We're going to be in a participation society. So this goes back to like Star Trek or Star Wars. How is money determined? What is money? Well, you're going to be rewarded for participating. So you can't be lazy. If you don't do anything, you don't produce, there's no reward in it. But just by doing simple tasks, like one store is going to reward you with certain coins. We do it with frequent flyer miles. You're with Southwest, Expedia, Delta, whoever, Priceline, and they want to reward you for using their services. So you built up your frequent flyer miles. The next thing you know, you can turn in those frequent flyer miles and get a free flight that you didn't have to pay for. Think about it. That is going to be in every aspect of life because of crypto. Participation rewards is going to be every day. Let me finish this. Anyone who transacts is given some value in return, meaning money could behave much like energy does. It never disappears and just transforms into something else, adding value to the universe of money. My old mentor, when I got into network marketing, he pulled out a $100 bill to me. And he said, this $100 bill is nothing. It's paper. What matters is what this $100 bill can do. It is simply energy. It is fuel so that you can do the things you desire to do. And when you run out of fuel, you can't go any further. Most people, the energy they have to work with is small because they're barely living paycheck to paycheck. But the more money you have, the more fuel you have to do more things. Now we're in the crypto space, and this guy says the same thing. Money could behave much like energy does. That's why I said there's never people always thinking that there's a scarcity of money. You got to go read a book that changed my life when I read it, because I got it, called The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles. If you haven't read that book, read it. I even went as far as recorded myself reading it and put it on YouTube. So you can pull it up if you don't like to read, you just want to hear me read it. The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles, and then put Brandon Ivey, and all the chapters will pop up on YouTube. But he talks about this. Money is just energy, and there's no scarcity of it. And you have the ability to attract this energy to you, the law of attraction. And crypto allows you to do it on a level never seen before for most people. So I understand now what he said. You needed to read the first article first to really get a grip and understand what this one's talking about. So I'm glad I read that article this morning. So if you listen to me now, and you didn't listen to me this morning, and this all kind of went over your head, you're like, what in the world is he talking about? What is all this economic stuff? I don't get it. Go back and read the first article, and let me put this link in the chat box for you. And this is something that I'm going to save because I'm going to need to read it multiple times to really let it sink in. And this is the one from this morning. Our weird relationship with money. Why is crypto so big? Because it is fundamentally changing how we deal with and view money. And we better be on top of it. I was doing a call for Stacy and telling everybody, why should you care about crypto? If you care about money, you better care about crypto because that's going to be the new money. I didn't say Bitcoin. I said crypto. All encompassing. It's not just about Bitcoin's just the first. It's the granddaddy of them all. It's like saying, I want to buy precious metal, and that only means gold. That doesn't mean just gold. There's many other forms of precious metal. All right, that is it. Late Night Crypto Talk. I hope you learned something new. As always, that is the point. Those of you in the Philly area, within 2 weeks, we're going to be doing a Bitcoin boot camp. We'll be having a KGX presentation Friday night, Saturday Bitcoin boot camp from 10 to 3. I guarantee you're going to know more than you did when you walk in the doors. I don't care how experienced you think you are. You never stop learning. I just learned something new tonight, and more ideas just popped up in my head in the future. That's why I do this, because I'm always going to catch something. Get back to whoever's showing this with you if you want to further your crypto education. We've got a program called KGX for that. And you're going to learn everything you need to know about cryptocurrencies and how they work. As a beginner, get your feet wet. And then invest in something like GreenX. So with that, you guys have a great day or a great night. I will see you tomorrow morning for early morning crypto talk. Bitcoin Brandon out. Bye-bye.